Hello YouTube. Let's start this video with a quick disclaimer. I caught a bit of a cold yesterday, haven't gotten a minute of sleep tonight, so if you hear me coughing, sniffling, or lose my train of thought today, or if my voice just disappears, I'm very sorry about that. I'm sick, there's nothing I can do about it, but I figured I'd still make a quick video today just to put something out. So let's start this like most videos by taking a look at the markets, and here we see once again a sea of green. We seem to have averted the downward correction we've seen the last 2 days. And now we are, if you look where the mouse is here, now we are at roughly the prices where we were 3 days ago. Bitcoin back safely above $7,000. XRP almost at 34 cents. Ethereum still at roughly the same place, 286. And EOS at a spectacular 662. Remember, just a couple days ago, this was under $5. So everything is recovering. Some coins very magnificently. Monero up 12.97%, Dash up almost 19%. And a lot of attention has been given to Dogecoin or Dogecoin for rising. Oh my god, look at this. I'm actually not sure what is going on with Dogecoin, but it's had a few spikes like this in the past, and it usually dropped a lot right after, so we'll see what's happening here. And the craziest thing is right here, Allworm coin down up 2,176%. Earlier it was up 4,000%. The price has dropped since. This strikes me as price manipulation because this is a shitcoin. Let's be honest. This is a whole lot of nothing. This is a coin that is a couple years old. That development on has ended, I think, a year or two ago. Like the devs have just abandoned it. It didn't have any use cases, it wasn't fulfilling any purpose. Someone just shot the price up and it's instantly fallen again. But yeah, we see the markets up. Bitcoin dominance has been falling a bit, 52.6%. If you remember, it was at 54% a while ago and has been hovering around 53 the last couple days. And the market cap is over 230 billion again, 231.498. So this is all looking very good. This looks like a continuation of the uptrend we have seen for about 2.5 weeks now. Now let's get to today's articles. I'm gonna try to get through them relatively quickly because I can already feel that my voice isn't gonna last. Bitcoin price loses 10% in August, but long-term bottom may be in. So this article on CoinDesk argues that Bitcoin might have bottomed out for a while and that now we're going to see gains. This is the technical analysis for the month of August, and the link is of course going to be in the description. Here, let's look at their view at the end. Bitcoin's long-tailed monthly candle indicates the long-term bear market likely bottomed out around $6,000. A break above the July high of 8,507 would confirm a bullish reversal. I assume this is a break in the next month. Yeah, their prediction, it seems safe to say the cryptocurrency has likely charted a long-term bottom around 6,000, and hence prices could revisit July highs above 8,500 in the next month or so. So the expectation is 8,500 in a month or two, and that would confirm a bullish reversal in the long term. And if we fall below 6,000, which is the major support level, and which is where it is right now considered to have bottomed out, that would be a revival of the sell-off that we've seen for almost an entire year now. So this is the CoinDesk position. This is pretty much what I've been saying for a couple of days. It looks like we have bottomed out, but it's always hard to tell because these markets are not perfectly predictable. But I do think we have probably seen a bottom out around between 6 and 6.5. And now that we're over 7, if we stay there for a while and if we can continue making more gains, we should be in for a long-term reversal and a couple months of uptick. I don't know if it will be enough to get us to previous highs, because right now the markets are recovering slowly. It's a slow and steady rise. If you remember a couple days ago, I had a video where someone was predicting a slow and steady rise to 10,000, which I think at the speeds it has been moving, we might be in for that. Next up. Ethereum core devs delay difficulty bomb, reduce block rewards to 2 Ethereum. This another thing I've talked about a couple days ago. If you remember yesterday, there was the big Ethereum core developer meeting, the They usually have one every 2 weeks, but they added an extra one in between because on the 24th they didn't get to an agreement. They had to deal with the difficulty bomb, which would pretty much freeze the entire network in a couple months. And what they have done now is they had 3 possible scenarios, and they enacted pretty much the medium one. They had one that would change block rewards to 1 Ethereum per block, one that would reduce it to 2, and one that keeps it at 3 but will change other factors, and they picked the one that reduces it to 2 Ethereum. And doing this means the difficulty bomb will be pushed back about 12 months, which should enable the switch to a proof of stake system. So this is very good news. I was talking about the uncertainty around this a while the last couple of days. This means we finally know what is happening. And from what I can tell, I'm not that technically minded, but I am reading a lot of these articles, so I hope I have a decent understanding. From what I understand, this means the difficulty bomb is pretty much averted. Delaying it an entire year should be all they needed. Next up, Rakuten, massive Japanese company. Think Amazon in Japan. They are buying a cryptocurrency exchange for a very cheap price, and they're buying it for 2.4 million. It's called Everybody's Bitcoin because it is a failing exchange. They had massive losses. Where does it say? Everybody's Bitcoin reported a net loss of about $444,000 in the fiscal year. Meaning, right now that company can be bought really, really cheaply. And it looks like Rakuten is planning on turning the company around. Though, who knows, they might be buying the company because the company has some talent signed to it or has some proprietary technology. I'm not entirely sure what their plan is. But this is another step we've seen a lot of massive Japanese and otherwise East Asian companies jump on the crypto train. This is another big step. One of the big tech giants in Japan buying a crypto exchange. Or rather a Bitcoin exchange, but they can always add other tokens to it. Next up, former Ripple CTO's blockchain project Coil enters closed beta. Now, the CTO, I think he's the CTO, yeah. Ripple CTO Stephen Thomas has been working on Coil for a while. Coil is kind of similar to Brave, the internet browser, and the BAT token, and that it's meant to find a new way to monetize web content and to do it in a way that small content creators, that small websites, that small bloggers, small YouTubers can get a fair share of the money. Because right now, the way it is, big companies can monetize the internet very well, but smaller people are pretty much depending on big companies being nice to them. Like, if you're a YouTube content creator, you're pretty much at YouTube's. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like you have to play by their rules. You get a cut of the earnings from your videos, but even then, only if you have a certain size of a channel, and then they can demonetize your videos for a million different reasons. And it takes a couple weeks until they actually pay you. And this is supposed to be one project that completely goes around that. You get money directly from people who want to support you, and this seems good. They're also I'm looking for something. Yep, they're also aiming to put Codius into it, which is a smart contract platform that Ripple developed, but that Ripple decided not to use ultimately. So that will now find a second life in Coil. So very interesting project. I suggest reading this whole thing. The closed beta is out now, so that means most people won't have access to it, but there's testing going on. It's an interesting project. I don't know how good their technology is, so I don't want to make any statements about it, but I just thought it sounded cool, and as always, the link will be in the description. And last but not least, European Union to discuss new rules for cryptocurrency sector. This is a shortish article, so let's actually read this one fully. I think my voice will survive. The finance ministers of 28 European countries will meet in Vienna to discuss new rules for the locally emerging cryptocurrency sector. The informal gathering, according to the draft note, will witness a broad discussion about current policy issues relevant to financial and economic affairs. Bloomberg, which claims to have read the meeting agenda in person, reports that the EU ministers will echo their concerns over a host of challenges posed by the popularity of cryptocurrencies. They include crypto's potential of being used by online criminals for drug trafficking, tax evasion, terrorist financing, and money laundering, and also its underlying pseudo-anonymity. Now this This probably seems paranoid because most crypto is not being used criminally, but it does make sense that governments would have to deal with these issues. So I think it's fair that they're addressing these. To add new measures on top of old ones merely mean one thing: the old laws are unable to outrun the latest technologies. And that's true, most laws that we have were not written with crypto in mind. People using cryptocurrency generally have a choice whether they want to be regulated or not. Just like a person sitting on a stash of undeclared cash can decide whether he wants to keep it in his backyard where nobody will be able to trace it, or a bank where he will have to prove the source of funds. In the case of cryptocurrencies, not choosing to be regulated means conducting transactions using private wallets away from the purview of regulated exchange and wallet services. Could be where a person could play the technology to facilitate a crime, and it seems to have been happening already. A Europol report released in February found that criminals in Europe had laundered 5.5 billion worth of undeclared cash via cryptocurrencies. Director Rob Wainwright claimed that 4% of all the crime money was converted to Bitcoin and similar digital assets. Now, 5.5 billion is a big number, but when you see it's actually 4% of all crime money, that is not that big right now. As for terrorism, the 2015 Paris attack had influenced the EU that cryptocurrencies could be instrumental in funding terrorist activities. Gaps still exist in the oversight of the many financial means used by terrorists, from cash and trading cultural artifacts to virtual currencies and anonymous prepaid cards. The authorities had written in their proposal to amend the 4th Anti-Money Laundering Directive. The revised directive, now called the 5th Directive, brought cryptocurrency exchanges and wallets within its purview. However, it excuses services that do not hold the private keys of consumers' Bitcoin wallet from regulation. The EU as a whole shows optimism towards Bitcoin's underlying technology, the blockchain, and is working hard towards establishing itself as a frontrunner of distributed ledger technologies. The Schengen countries have invested over 83 million in both blockchain-based and blockchain-enabled projects. The EU has also started a Blockchain for EU initiative to develop potent blockchain applications for industrial and non-financial sectors. But the question remains, could new or any rules govern a technology whose foundation is to avoid centralized governance? Let's wait and see how the EU ministers take a step towards finding a right answer. So, all we know right now is that there's an informal meeting happening in a week where crypto regulation will be discussed. A lot of people are very worried about what a body like the EU might do about crypto, but I think so far they have had a pretty decent track record. Things haven't been outright banned, and the EU has clearly been supportive of crypto technologies, so I don't think we have to be all that worried. Let's get worried once we actually have bad news and once we have details. Anyways, that is where I'm going to end today's video. Sorry about my voice, my coughing, my everything, and hopefully I'll feel a bit better tomorrow. As long as I'm capable of talking at all, I'll try to push a video out, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good weekend.